Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is the show where we take a whole stack of sources, could be articles, research, maybe our own notes, and we really try to pull out the key insights for you. Basically, a shortcut to getting informed, maybe with a few surprises along the way. And, speaking of time, it really flies, doesn't it? It seems like 1 minute you're starting out, maybe university, and the next. Well, the career path you thought was fixed looks completely different. It's kind of wild how fast things change.
Oh, it really is. I've been at my current company 20 years now, 26 in the industry overall. And honestly, it feels like yesterday sometimes. Time just vanishes.
That's actually a perfect lead-in for our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring the constantly shifting world of IT careers, trying to get a handle on what working in IT really means, beyond just the stereotype of coding, and how your own personal growth kind of weaves into your professional choices. And helping us navigate all this, we've got a fantastic guide, an expert with, well, over 2 decades in IT. He's also doing his PhD right now and works right at the core of the Uni-President Group's information setup. That's Uni-President Information. Think of them as the digital engine behind brands you definitely know, like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And our mission today really is to unpack the practical side of IT work. Look at the new trends, like AI, obviously, and just offer some insights, maybe some advice on how you can build a career that feels, well, fulfilling and makes an impact. It doesn't matter where you are in your learning journey right now.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Someone's thinking about IT, maybe they just finished an information management program or computer science. What are those first roles they usually step into? I'm guessing it's not just coding all day, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, a lot of people start out as engineers doing the actual coding
Mm-hmm.
or as system analysts.
System analysts.
Yeah.
What exactly do they do?
Well, that's a really, really crucial role, actually. They're the ones who talk to people. They figure out what a client actually needs a system to do. And then they translate all that into, a functional design.
Ah, okay.
Think of it like if you want an app, the analyst asks, okay, what should this app do? And then they map out the functions, the interfaces needed to make it happen.
So it's less about building straight away and more about understanding the need first.
Got it. So once someone gets some experience in those roles, engineer or analyst, how do they move up? Maybe into leadership, like a project manager or a
Right.
consultant. Yeah, that's a common path. So after you've got some experience under your belt, could be 10 years, maybe even 20, you often find yourself moving into roles like project manager or
Yeah.
consultant.
What does a project manager focus on?
A project manager, they basically oversee anything that involves more than one person on a team. So managing the collaboration, the schedule, quality, cost,
Mhm.
all that stuff. If it's not just one person building the whole system, you need someone coordinating it.
Right, like the conductor, making sure everyone plays together. What about the consultant role then? How's that different?
A consultant is, well, they're kind of like a teacher, but for companies. They come in, they look at how things are currently done, diagnose issues, and then guide the company on implementing new systems or processes. They're educating the business owners, the employees, on how to best use new tech.
It really is striking how IT is just everywhere now. It's not just one department. It seems like it's fundamental across, well, every industry. Finance, manufacturing, retail.
Mm.
Are there specific areas that are really hot right now? High demand?
Definitely. IT is absolutely foundational everywhere today. Right now, fintech, that's financial technology, is huge. Our department actually does a lot of research there. Data analysis, that's been big for, the last 5, 6 years at least. Often ties in with cloud services too.
Cloud services, right?
And of course, entrepreneurship is always a major path, people wanting to start their own thing. We're seeing tons of innovation in all those areas.
It sounds like even if you think you have a set path, like maybe taking over a family business, you still can't ignore this stuff. Understanding digital transformation seems non-negotiable.
Precisely. Yeah,
Yeah.
even in a family business scenario, you absolutely have to think about how digital tools, how transformation will affect, how you operate, how you reach customers, how you compete.
Yeah.
It's a global shift. No
Yeah.
escaping it.
Okay, let's make this more concrete then. Let's talk about your world at Uni-President Information. You called it the IT brain of this huge group. Can you give us a sense of the scale, the kinds of systems you're responsible for?
Sure. So, Uni-President Information, we're the main IT division for what's called the Uni-President Superstore subgroup. And that includes names everyone knows, right? 7-Eleven, Starbucks, Cosmed, Books.com.tw, Mr. Donut, Cold Stone.
Wow, okay, all those big names.
Exactly. We are quite literally the IT brain for that whole retail operation. Our job is building and maintaining the essential information systems for all of them, and actually some parts of Uni-President Enterprise too, which is more on the manufacturing side.
So when I buy something at 7-Eleven or grab a coffee, your team is kind of the invisible engine making that transaction happen. Can you give an example of a system that really shows the scale you're working at?
Okay, yeah. Think about the POS machines, the point-of-sale systems. In over 7,000 7-Eleven stores across Taiwan.
7,000 stores.
Yep. Those systems, we build them, we maintain them, and think about the complexity. Like, what happens if the network connection drops? The system still needs to let the customer buy their stuff, right? That needs to work seamlessly. That's the kind of thing we manage daily, keeping those thousands of machines running, always.
That's just an incredible scale. And I heard this really interesting kind of quirky thing about server rooms in Taiwan, something about snacks, these good fortune bags.
Ah, yes. The guai guai. It's a real tradition. You go into almost any server room here, and you'll see these specific green bags of snacks sitting on top of the servers.
Green ones specifically.
Yes, green. The brand name, guai guai, it means something like obedient or well-behaved in Mandarin. So the belief, or maybe superstition, is that putting them there makes the machines run smoothly, makes them behave.
Okay.
And the really weird part, we actually pay attention to the expiration dates. Seriously. I've personally seen situations where a system gets unstable, things start acting up, and it clears up right after we replace some expired guai guai bags, especially around the Lunar Ghost month in July.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. It sounds completely unbelievable, I know. But in my 20 years, it's happened maybe 3-4 times where there seemed to be a connection. I wouldn't say they make things work better, but maybe. Maybe they stop things from breaking. It's definitely a unique part of the culture here.
That is fascinating. A cultural insight I definitely wasn't expecting. So, moving from snacks back to the work itself, what are the main types of work an IT professional in Taiwan cycles through? You mentioned it's not just one thing.
Right. Generally, you'll see people rotating through about 4 main areas over their career here. First, there's development. That's the coding part.
Okay.
Second is operations. That's about maintenance, fixing bugs, testing new features really thoroughly before they go live, making sure everything runs smoothly afterwards.
Makes sense.
Third is project management, overseeing the whole process, managing the team, schedule, budget.
Got it.
And fourth is customer communication, really digging in to understand what the client, the user, actually needs, gathering those requirements.
So it sounds like you don't just pick one and stick with it forever. You mentioned a kind of natural progression. How does that usually play out?
Yeah, it often flows naturally. You usually start as a coder, right, in development. But pretty quickly, as you're building things, you start seeing issues. Maybe the requirements you were given don't make sense or they're impractical. So you naturally start wanting to talk directly to the customer or the user. That moves you into customer communication because you have those practical insights from coding.
Right, you know what's actually possible or difficult.
Exactly. Then, once you have that firsthand information from the customer and the technical understanding, you're in a great position for project management. You can see both sides.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then finally, often you move into operations. After a system is built and live, there's ongoing work maintenance, adding new features based on business needs, ensuring stability. It kind of completes the cycle.
That progression really underlines something you mentioned earlier, that the main goal isn't just writing code, it's about solving problems for the customer.
Precisely. That's the core of it. Even when you're deep in the code, the ultimate aim has to be addressing a real need, delivering real value to someone. If you lose sight of that, well, the work can start to feel a bit pointless, honestly.
Okay, let's talk about challenges then, and the skills you need to navigate these roles. What would you say is the absolute most crucial skill for anyone in IT, even coders? And what's usually the biggest hurdle?
Communication.
Yeah.
Hands down. It's absolutely critical in every single role, even for coders, maybe especially now with AI.
Why with AI?
Because you need to write really effective prompts, clear instructions. If you can't tell the AI exactly what you need, precisely and clearly, you're not going to get the right code back. It's a form of communication.
So it's not just talking to humans, it's articulating needs clearly, whether it's to a person or a machine. And that's often where people struggle, right? It can be uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. Building strong communication skills, it takes time. And yeah, it often feels awkward at first. You stumble a bit. It's definitely uncomfortable sometimes. But I always tell students, lean into it. Step out of that comfort zone.
Easier said than done sometimes.
And I know, but don't turn down chances to talk to clients or present your work just because you're nervous. You learn so much, even if you mess up a little. It's how you grow.
And I imagine that discomfort or maybe the complexity of human interaction really comes to the forefront in project management when you're dealing with teams.
Oh, definitely. The toughest part of project management is almost always the people issues. It's not just about managing timelines and budgets. It's about handling different personalities, navigating disagreements, resolving conflicts, sometimes just keeping people motivated.
Yeah.
You really need to understand your colleagues, where they're coming from, what makes them tick.
So bringing AI back into this, if communication and dealing with people is the hard part, where does that leave the actual act of coding? Is it still the most difficult piece?
Well, here's what's really interesting. With AI tools becoming so powerful, writing the code itself, it's actually becoming, in some ways, the simplest part of the job.
Really? Simplest?
Yeah, I mean, if you're good at communicating your needs to the AI through good prompts, you can generate code incredibly fast. The harder skill now, the thing that requires more nuance and experience, is the human interaction part. Understanding those complex user needs, leading diverse teams, managing stakeholders. That's where the real challenge and maybe the real value lies now.
Wow, that's quite a shift in perspective. So, given all that, what's your biggest piece of advice for someone learning this stuff, especially if they're maybe a bit shy, afraid of asking silly questions or making mistakes?
Embrace asking questions. Seriously. Never ever be afraid to ask if you don't understand something, even if you worry it sounds basic or wrong. In a job, asking that clarifying question could save the company from a huge, costly mistake. And in school,
Mm-hmm.
your teachers want you to ask. They're not going to judge you. Every question you ask, every answer you get, it's a learning opportunity. It's honestly one of the fastest ways to really learn and grow. Don't hold back.
So, being proactive, being vocal, it's key. Let's zoom out a bit. You've seen IT change dramatically over 20 plus years. Can you walk us through those big waves? Big data, cloud computing, and now AI.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. After the first maybe decade of just building and launching projects, we really hit the big data wave. For about 5 years, everything was focused on improving our data infrastructure. How do we handle just the sheer amount and complexity of data we were suddenly able to collect?
Right, that was huge. And then cloud computing came along and seemed to change everything about infrastructure. Can you break down what cloud services like AWS or Azure actually mean in practice?
Sure. So cloud computing, think AWS from Amazon, GCP from Google, Azure from Microsoft. It fundamentally changed things. Instead of buying tons of physical servers and building your own expensive data centers, which is what we used to do,
Hmm.
the cloud lets you essentially rent computing power. Servers,
Yeah.
databases, storage, networking, all from these massive data centers run by the providers.
And why is that such a big deal?
Scalability. It's revolutionary for scalability. Imagine you're selling concert tickets for a huge star, like, say, Jackie Brown. You might get hundreds of thousands of people hitting your website all at once, maybe in just a 10-minute window.
Yeah, okay.
In the old days, you'd have to buy enough physical servers to handle that absolute peak load. And then those expensive servers would just sit there, mostly idle, for months. With the cloud, you can instantly scale up your resources for that 10-minute peak and then scale right back down afterwards. You only pay for what you use. It often means redesigning your systems, re-architecting them, but the flexibility is just incredible.
That flexibility sounds like a game changer, especially for businesses with those peaks and troughs. Okay, so now the AI revolution. Is your company, Uni-President Information, really leaning into this?
Oh, absolutely. Very much so. What's really striking is that our company hasn't just encouraged AI, it's actually mandated its use for coding.
Mandated. Wow.
Yes, we're using tools like GitHub Copilot, which runs on OpenAI's models, GPT, and our engineers. They're actually required to get certified in AI-assisted coding now. It's not optional. It's become a core part of how we develop software.
That's a serious commitment. Can you give an example of the kind of efficiency boost you've seen because of this, something that really shows the impact?
Yeah, there was one colleague, a really sharp architect. He had this project with 150 different programs to write, which sounds insane for one person.
150, okay.
Using AI tools like Copilot, knocking out maybe 5 programs a day with its help. He finished all 150 programs in just 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah, 30 days. That would have been considered absolutely impossible before. Just unthinkable for one person. Now, that's an extreme example. He's very skilled. But even if you only write, say, 50 programs in 30 days using AI, that's still a massive leap in productivity. It's just unprecedented.
That kind of productivity is amazing, but it leads to the question everyone asks, is this AI efficiency leading to job cuts? Are coders losing their jobs because of this?
That's the million-dollar question, right? But honestly, our experience, at least right now, is no. AI is not currently leading to widespread job losses in IT. Not for us, anyway.
Why not, if one person can do the work of several?
It's pretty simple, actually. Customer demand is growing even faster. When you show you can build things so much quicker, faster, cheaper, clients just start asking for more. More systems, more features, more complex solutions. So while maybe a specific team needs fewer people for one project, the overall volume of work, the number of new projects coming in, just keeps increasing and basically absorbs that extra capacity.
Ah, okay. So the work expands to fill the new capability. The competitive edge then isn't just about coding skill, but about how well you can use these AI tools compared to others.
Exactly. That's precisely it. Your future success, your value in this field, is increasingly tied to learning how to use AI effectively, leveraging it better than the next person, better than the competition. Right now, it's definitely about augmenting human skills, not replacing them wholesale.
That really changes how you think about skills for the future. So let's talk long-term vision.
Yeah.
For university students now, what subjects should they really focus on, even with AI changing things, and how should they approach learning them?
Yeah, foundations are still absolutely key. Don't skip the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Calculus, for instance. You might think, when will I use this? But if you want to really understand many of the advanced AI papers, the algorithms, you need that mathematical grounding.
Interesting. What else?
Java. Now, I joked earlier we're not using it quite as much for coding everything maybe, but it's fantastic for learning object-oriented programming principles. Those concepts apply everywhere, across tons of languages and systems. It teaches you a way of thinking. And databases, so important. Even with all the talk about NoSQL and unstructured data, most business data, the stuff that really runs companies, is still structured. You need to know how to design databases, query them, manage data effectively, and yeah, you can definitely use AI to help you learn these things, explain concepts. But don't use it to skip understanding the core ideas.
So focus on the deep concepts. Use AI as a study buddy, not a replacement. What about outside of classes? Things like university clubs, leadership roles, how important is that?
Hugely important. Get involved. Join clubs. Take on leadership positions if you can. These experiences, they're basically real-world project management practice.
How so?
Well, think about it. You're organizing events, maybe managing a small budget. You're definitely dealing with different personalities in the group, trying to motivate people. It builds all those crucial social skills, collaboration skills, skills you absolutely need in any job. You learn how to work with people, how to influence, how to lead. It's invaluable.
That's a great way to frame it, practical experience disguised as extracurriculars. What about building a personal brand? I keep hearing about side projects. What are they, and why do people say they matter so much?
Side projects, or SPs as people call them. Yeah, they're really powerful. Basically, it's pursuing something you're passionate about outside of your required coursework or your day job.
Like what kind of things?
Could be anything, really. Developing a small app for a niche interest you have, creating some unique digital art or concept, contributing code to an open source project online, even just starting a blog where you write about tech topics you find interesting.
And why is that so powerful?
Because it builds a tangible portfolio. It shows initiative, it shows genuine passion, and it gives you something concrete to talk about in interviews that makes you stand out. Think of someone like Tang Feng, known widely for their side projects. It really differentiates you from someone who just did the required coursework. Shows what you can do and what you love to do.
That makes a lot of sense, showing, not just telling. Beyond the technical and project stuff, how important is it to just know what's going on in the world, both globally and locally?
Very important. Keep up with international news. You don't need to read every single article in depth, but just scanning headlines from reliable sources, having a general awareness,
Yeah.
it broadens your perspective. You start to see global trends, how they might impact technology, different industries.
Locally.
Equally important, understanding the local culture, the local market, wherever you are or plan to work. All this wider awareness helps you make better career plans, understand what businesses need, and just makes you a more well-rounded person, frankly. Not just stuck in a tech bubble.
Okay, this leads to a big one. A lot of students, understandably, focus heavily on salary when they first look for jobs. What's your take on that money-first mindset?
Yeah, it's super common. And look, I get it, especially if you have student loans or family pressure, salary matters.
Yeah.
But I actually have a personal regret related to this. My very first job offer, way back, was in a field I was incredibly passionate about, really excited about the work itself. But the pay was, well, pretty low compared to IT, so I took the higher-paying IT job instead. And while my IT career has been good, rewarding in many ways, I still sometimes wonder, what if I'd followed that initial passion? It feels like maybe I missed out on a different kind of fulfillment.
That's really honest. So, if it's not just about the paycheck, what other things should people really weigh up when thinking about a fulfilling career?
Definitely think about job stability. Are you more comfortable in a large, established corporation? Or does the risk and potential reward of a startup appeal more? Startups can be exciting, but they don't always last.
Good point.
Then there's genuine passion. Does the actual work interest you? Because that's what gets you through the tough days, keeps you engaged long term. And flexibility is big now too. Though it's worth noting, that big wave of fully remote work during the pandemic, it's pulled back quite a bit. Many companies are asking people back to the office at least some of the time. So you need to check what the reality is.
Stability, passion, flexibility. This all seems to point towards something deeper, maybe finding your life's mission or destiny, as some people put it. How does that connect to career happiness?
This, I honestly believe, is where true happiness and real achievement come from. I think everyone has some unique talent, some unique purpose or calling. If you can figure out what that is for you, what problem you feel driven to solve, what impact you really want to make in the world that provides a sense of drive and accomplishment that, frankly, no amount of money can replicate.
Can you give an example?
I heard this story about an engineer who felt his coding job was pretty meaningless, just churning out stuff. Then he learned about a country, I think in Southeast Asia, where unexploded bombs from past conflicts were a huge problem, killing and injuring people. He used his coding skills to develop an app that helped identify and warn people about the locations of these bombs. It literally saved lives.
Wow.
And he found this immense joy, this profound sense of purpose in his work. It completely changed how he saw his skills and their potential impact.
That's incredibly powerful. Impact over income.
Yeah.
And you made a similar choice yourself, right? Moving back towards teaching, even if it wasn't the highest paying option.
That's right. Yeah, I had a very well-paying job in the industry, but I chose to come back and teach. A lot of my friends thought I was crazy, honestly, because the salary's lower. But for me, the fulfillment I get from guiding students, seeing them learn and grow, helping them find their own paths, it's huge. When a former student reaches out and tells me something I taught them, helped them achieve something cool, that feeling is worth way more to me than the extra money.
So, when you boil it all down, for our listeners trying to figure things out, what's the real measure of success in a career, in life?
I think the true measure isn't just about how much money you make or what title you have. It's simpler, maybe harder. It's about being better than yesterday. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you challenging yourself? Are you finding that personal fulfillment, that sense of purpose? Because honestly, what's the point of having more money if you're not evolving as a person and feeling like you're contributing something meaningful?
That's a really powerful way to look at it. So, just to recap some of the amazing advice you've shared today, be brave, be vocal, ask questions, don't worry about making mistakes. That's how you learn.
Exactly.
And you don't need your whole life mapped out right this second, but start thinking, really thinking about the kind of person, the kind of professional you want to become.
Yes. And let that vision, that sense of purpose, be your main guide when you make choices. More than just the salary number. That, I think, is where real freedom in your career comes from.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. Forget the money for a second. What kind of positive impact, what kind of contribution would bring you that deep sense of purpose and happiness? What change do you want to create? That's something really worth digging into.